Good morning, I'm Adam Davis.
Hi, I'm Dylan Tanaka.
And welcome to Making Millions Over Morning Coffee.
I want to put a disclaimer out there quick, Adam, to everybody. We're going to have a lot of real information in this segment, and it might be looked at as doom and gloom, but what I want everyone out there to understand, all of our listeners and all of our watchers, we are going to be turning it into opportunity. So pay attention. It might get a little foggy in the middle, but in the end, you're going to see the opportunity through the smoke.
Well, I hope Dylan didn't scare any of you away out there. What we want to talk about today, because we're based in Metro Detroit, we're Michigan Income Properties, we're a leading buyer of residential income real estate, cash flow real estate. We make opportunities available in residential real estate investment for investors from all walks of life, all different shapes and sizes, and all different investment styles. What we want to talk about today is the state of things here in Metro Detroit and why things got to be the way that they are. And we're not professional economists. I have a degree in economics, but I'm not a professional economist. What I am is I'm a professional investor and I'm a professional entrepreneur, which means that I look for and take advantage of opportunities that present themselves. And when you look at what's caused the housing problem here, for lack of a better term, in Southeast Michigan, we hear a lot about manufacturing job losses, population decline, crumbling infrastructure, tax problems. These are the four biggest things that the experts, for lack of a better term, talk about when they look at what's really driving the housing problem here in Metro Detroit, with the fifth factor being the mortgage problem, which they're saying is driving the real estate crumbling all over the United States. And we're going to leave that mortgage problem for another segment because we could probably talk for about an hour and a half on that. And we know that we value your time and we're trying to get you the most concise information we can in our segments every morning. But the manufacturing job losses as the primary driver of opportunities here in Michigan real estate is what we primarily focus on, because the city of Detroit and the surrounding areas were really built with an automotive infrastructure. Isn't that right, Dylan?
Yeah, I have to agree, Adam, 100%. The tough part for us as Michigan residents, and I'm born and bred here, I've been here 31 years, the Big Three has been a big part of my life, even though I don't work for the Big Three. My parents have never worked for the Big Three. Both of my uncles are affiliated to two different car companies. But without the Big Three cutting checks to their workers, Michigan does slow down and almost crumble. And we've kind of seen that in the last couple of years, unfortunately, because if an auto worker gets laid off, they're the biggest buyers of consumer goods in Michigan, bar none. So they're going to buy less big screen TVs at Best Buy, which means there's less kids that need to work there, which also means that there's less people who are working in the shipping docks. And it just kind of translates all the way back. And what has to happen, for those of you who are out there watching and listening, kind of who already understand what I'm talking about, is we have to take our futures into our own hands. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but at 31 years old, I don't think Social Security is going to be around for me. If it is, great. Maybe I'll be able to start a foundation with the $600 a month that they're going to give me. You know, it's not going to make a dent in my health care 30 years from now. But we have to take things into our own hands, and we have to make it happen in Metro Detroit.
Dylan touched on a lot of subjects there, and I just want to follow up on one. What he alluded to was the trickle-down effect that economics entails when you talk about one person that can't buy, that affects another person, that affects another person, that affects another person. This is true across the entire economy. And as global change and an archaic infrastructure have affected some of the auto companies, I mean, we have to realize too that the Michigan and the Midwest in particular, being the Rust Belt, or the manufacturing hub of the United States, had 40 to 50 years of unparalleled prosperity. So when we look at past generations here in Michigan, they live very high standards of living. And we're in danger right now of future generations in Michigan not living the same standards of living that prior generations lived. And that's a real danger. What we can do is we can stop it by going out, by encouraging entrepreneurial activity, by being involved in politics, by being involved in commerce. You are doing your part to make things change. Now, you don't want to feel like you need to boil the ocean all at once, but understanding that there are going to be more manufacturing job losses as the market adjusts for these companies. But at the same time, don't lose sight of the fact that new jobs are being created. For example, a couple weeks ago, we met a member of our group, the Real Estate Investors Association of Macomb, along with his fiance at a workshop that we conducted. We came to learn that his fiance was working for a startup software company that was building payroll and human resource software for some of the biggest companies in the world. This company was started over in Troy, which is in Oakland County, which is an area that we heavily invest in. And that's just one small company, one small thing going on. In a metro area of over 5 million people, that's going to make a ripple effect in the pond. It's not going to really make the pond grow, but when enough of those little raindrops hit the pond, it starts to fill up again.
Exactly. And some people may have heard me say this before, but what we do is we buy and sell real estate. We own a real estate investment firm. And when we buy a house, not only are we affected, is the bank affected that we buy it from most times, because there are so many foreclosures right now. The person who finances the deal, whether it's a bank, a private lender, or even ourselves. Then there's construction to look at. There's a title company who gets paid. There's a homeowner hopefully who comes in, or a renter. So you're making 6, 7, sometimes 10 different transactions just from the purchase of one home. So if we want Michigan to change, it's going to be up to us, like Adam said, to encourage each other in different entrepreneurial aspects.
There is a big value chain with real estate investing, almost unlike any other industry. And we have to realize, and the reason why I rolled my pen right there is because you have to realize that Alabama wrote a song a couple of years ago, probably 20 or 30 years ago, and it said he was, the lead singer of the group was giving a shout out to everybody that was working out in the field, the blue collar working man. Said you work a 40-hour week for a living just to send it on down the line. And we as entrepreneurs and real estate investors need to keep that in mind. We work hard, we create opportunities for ourselves, but we're also sending it on down the line, which means that every good seed you plant, every good deal that you do, every dollar you make is being reinvested in your community, and it's going to make Southeast Michigan an economic bastion of strength once again very soon, probably before you know it. Things are going to be a lot different here. The population is going to be increasing again, and opportunities to buy cheap real estate aren't going to be there, but we'll have another generation upon generation of prosperity.
Make no mistake, I love Michigan and I love this country. A lot of people know that about me. But I don't have a lot of faith in letting them take care of my future. And I don't, unfortunately, believe that you should either, because we have to set ourselves up and set our families up. Our kids who want to go to college, if you're lucky enough to have a child who's going to be a doctor, how are you going to pay for that? You got to pay it forward. You need to invest in real estate. You need to do things right. You need to be a good steward of your own finances. You need to run your family's finances like a real business. And I think Adam touched on this earlier. They don't teach us that in school, unfortunately. We learn a lot of important stuff. History is important. Science is important. Math is important. But we don't really learn how to run a household. I mean, how many of you out there knew how to balance a checkbook, knew how a mortgage worked, knew what an annuity was as opposed to a stock or a bond or an option? They don't teach us any of that. So it's really up to us now to teach each other and to teach our children that. Because if you are from a middle class family, which most of us are who are watching this, then we have to be in control of our own destiny. And letting a fund manager, like I always say, push buttons and Google goes up or Google goes down, and maybe you just lost $600,000 of your $1 million that you were going to retire with because a fund manager thought, I think today's the day. I don't want to leave it up to those fund managers, and I don't think you should either.
Taking control is what being a true American is all about. When this country started, it was about people that took control. And you'll start to see big differences in your financial future when you start to take control of things. If you want to learn more about the subject matter that we talked about today, check us out online. Check out our blogs where you get to know us a little bit more personally. Mine is adamjdavis.com.
You can find me at www.dylantanaka.com.
And if you want to know more about the opportunities available in residential real estate in Metro Detroit, go to michiganincomeproperties.com. Look at the homes that we have available. If you're looking at getting involved in real estate, or you are involved in real estate right now and you're looking to take it to higher levels, take a look at our website. You'll get your questions answered, and you'll see what's out there that can make you rich over the next 5, 10, 20 years.
Now is the time in Michigan real estate where you can make it happen. You can change your family's future. and you can set yourself up to have a good life.
Absolutely. Well, check back with us tomorrow because we're helping you make millions over morning coffee.